Hello, I'm Kurma. Welcome to the Gourmet Vegetarian Cooking Video Encyclopedia. This edition, we're going to show you how to prepare all these delicious vegetable dishes. Scrambled curd, simple glazed carrots, chickpeas and potatoes in a creamy coconut yogurt gravy, and zucchini, green pepper and tomato tarkari. We carefully combine fresh produce with herbs and spices, grains and dairy products for an enormous variety of tasty dishes that are not only satisfying to the palate but also conducive to good health and happiness. Bon appetit! Scrambled curd, the vegetarian's answer to scrambled eggs, is a delightful homemade curd preparation. Here's curd, a homemade light cheese made by adding some curdling agent to milk. Curdling agent means something which is acidic. So for that purpose you can use lemon juice, yogurt, or you can use citric acid or tartaric acid, which you can buy in any department store. You can use vinegar, or you can use buttermilk. Now over here we have 1 gallon of fresh whole milk which has just come to the boil, and we're going to add between 1/2 and 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice to this milk in order to prepare our curd. So whatever sort of curdling agent you're going to use, always be careful just to not add the whole amount at once, but add a little bit at a time so as you can gradually allow the curds to come out of the milk. Curds are the solid portion, and the liquid residue is called whey. Now, after the lemon juice has been added to the milk, you'll notice that lumps of curd appear in the milk. This is the first stage of curdling. After some time, more lumps will appear and the liquid residue will go more clear until finally the curds will have completely separated from the whey. As you can notice here, the curds are fully lumpy and the whey has become completely clear, which means that you shouldn't add any more curdling agent. Rather, you should progress on with the next stage. So now we have to separate the curds from the whey. I'm going to pour it through a colander here. Now notice that I'm not pouring all the way down the sink. Don't discard it, rather keep it. You can cook vegetables in it, you can make different types of soup stocks, you can make drinks out of the whey. So capture it all in a bowl, let it cool down, put it in the fridge for later. Meanwhile, with the curd, let's take it over to the sink and allow it to drain a little more thoroughly. Now when the curd has been sitting in the sink for some time, you will then be able to progress on with the next stage, which is the scrambling part. So here's our curd. It's been draining now for about 10 or 15 minutes. Most of the whey has drained out. There's just a little bit left here. We're going to continue on with the next stage. Now to make scrambled curd, you need the following ingredients. 3 tablespoons of ghee, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, whole, 1 teaspoonful of salt, 1/4 teaspoonful of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/2 cup of heavy cream, and 2 teaspoons of minced fresh coriander. This is a bunch of fresh coriander, sometimes known as cilantro. It's a natural herb. It's like the Indian equivalent of parsley. I use it a lot actually in my cooking. It adds a very nice finishing touch to your preparations. So firstly, add your ghee to a heavy pan or a wok. I like to cook in woks. They're very practical for this style of cooking. And turn your flame on to high. When the ghee starts to slightly smoke, take your cumin seeds and place them into the ghee like so. They'll start to crackle and pop. This is called the masala method of cooking spices. The natural aroma of the spices is extracted by frying it in some cooking medium like ghee, or you can use cooking oil. When the cumin seeds have browned, gently toss in the curd, like so. Sprinkle in the turmeric and the salt. Gently saute it just for a minute until all the spices and the curd are mixed. You see now it's starting to look like scrambled eggs. Finally, remove it from the flame and add black pepper, your cream, give it a final stir. This is wonderful for breakfast, and it has the fraction of the cholesterol of scrambled eggs. And finally, sprinkle on your fresh coriander leaf. Zucchini, green pepper and tomato tarkari. What's a tarkari, you might ask? Tarkari is a method of cooking vegetables together in their own juices. We've got here 6 tomatoes chopped into half-inch cubes, 2 green peppers diced finely, and we've got 6 zucchinis that have been cut up in half rounds. Let me show you how that's done. When you take your zucchinis, this little end here, you just have to cut off that little bit. And on the big end, you have to cut off that much. And to cut them in half rounds, simply cut them down the center like so and chop them into rings. And automatically, you'll get nice, even-shaped half rounds. So that's our vegetable ingredients. Now over here, we have the rest of the ingredients. We have 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander seeds, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 tablespoons of ghee, 1½ teaspoons of freshly minced green hot chilies, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of asafoetida, and a tablespoon of parsley. Asafoetida is the aromatic resin from the root of the asafoetida plant. I use it a lot in my cooking. In fact, it's my favourite spice. You can purchase it in little containers like this from any sort of Asian goods store, and this sort of container would last you for a very long time. Firstly, heat up a heavy pan, such as a wok, and put in your ghee or oil. As I mentioned before, this is a standard method of frying your spices. When the ghee starts to smoke a little, add the cumin seeds. Cumin seeds, by the way, are a very aromatic spice. I use them a lot in my cooking, and they're awfully good for the digestion, as well as providing a very nutty, savoury flavour to your vegetable dishes. Now when they start to crackle like this, add your freshly minced green chilies. Whenever you touch chilies like this with your hands, always remember to wash them off afterwards, because the hot oils in the chilies will affect your skin. Fry up the chilies with the cumin seeds. Now we're going to add the asafoetida and the turmeric. In goes the asafoetida and some turmeric. And the green peppers. Now we want to saute the green peppers for up to 5 minutes. When you fry your spices in ghee, all the flavours that are locked in to those spices come out, and the whole room fills up with a fragrance of spice. I like to partially cook my green peppers first in order to soften them a little. So next, we add our zucchinis and our coriander powder. Toss them all in. Now mix in very carefully all the zucchinis so that they're well coated with spice. Now finally, add our tomatoes. The tomatoes here will add the liquid which is necessary to continue cooking our zucchinis. The zucchinis themselves will give off a little moisture also. And place a lid on your wok and continue cooking, stirring every now and then till the zucchinis are soft. It's been about 5 minutes. Yes, you notice now all the juices have mixed together. The tomatoes have softened up, the green peppers are soft, zucchinis are nice and soft. Let's add our final ingredients here. We've got our brown sugar and our salt. I like to add a little brown sugar. It brings out the flavour of the tomatoes, a little extra sweetness there. Fold that all in. Some parsley, freshly chopped, as a garnish. And there it is, zucchini, green pepper and tomato tarkari, a light summer vegetable. Stuck with something to do with a bunch of carrots, don't want to boil them or steam them? Try simple glazed carrots. Slices of carrots sautéed in spices with honey. This is how you do it. Take some carrots, chop off the ends and peel them like this. For this recipe we need 4 cups of carrots. When you've peeled the carrots, slice them into 1/8 of an inch thick wedges on an angle like this. This is called bias cut, like so. You'll also need the following ingredients. Take 2 tablespoons of ghee, half a teaspoon of minced fresh green chilies, half a teaspoon of fresh minced ginger root, 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 2 tablespoons of honey, half a teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, and 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley or coriander. In this case, we're going to use freshly minced coriander. Now, a word about ginger. Here's a ginger root. This is the knobbly rhizome or root of the ginger plant. This beautiful, handsome piece of ginger here comes from Hawaii. I'll show you how to prepare minced ginger. Break off 1 piece of ginger like so. Take a peeler and peel it like you would do a potato. Like so. Ginger itself is wonderful for the digestion. Just a little piece of ginger a day guarantees you no indigestion or heartburn. Take some sort of scraper. This is a ginger scraper itself, and very vigorously scrape your peeled ginger like so. If you haven't got a hand ginger grater like this, you can use any sort of vegetable shredder, or you can even just peel a chunk of ginger and place it in your food processor and shred it up till it's fine. So first, place your ghee in your pan, like so. Now, when it starts to smoke a little, place your cumin seeds in the ghee and fry them till they begin to crackle, like so, and go brown. Now let's add our fresh ginger. When you fry the ginger like this, the hot, pungent flavour of the ginger is released into the ghee in this simple masala method of frying spices. Now let's put our chilies in. Fresh, hot green chilies. If you don't like hot spices, then leave out the chilies. Now we're going to add the honey, the turmeric, this makes the glaze. Now we add the carrots. Now saute your carrots in the spicy glaze for about 3 to 4 minutes. Be careful at this stage not to burn the carrots, because the honey here will stick if you're not careful. After you've stir-fried your carrots for about 2 or 3 minutes, add 2/3 of a cup of water. Reduce the flame to low and gently boil for 20 minutes. Well, it's been about 20 minutes. Notice how the carrots have become soft and tender. There's practically no juice left there now. Just a little bit of juice. So we're going to add our black pepper, salt, lemon juice, and our minced fresh coriander. Fold it all in. And it's ready. Simple glazed carrots. Did you know that the protein from 1 cup of chickpeas is equivalent to the protein from 1 4.5-ounce steak? Chickpeas are a great source of protein, iron, fibre, vitamin A, B6, riboflavin, niacin, thiamine, calcium, phosphorus, sodium, potassium, And so they're a must for a health-conscious vegetarian. These are raw chickpeas. You can't eat these, they're like bullets. But these are soaked chickpeas. And these are cooked chickpeas. If you're not quite sure whether they're done, just take one chickpea between your thumb and forefinger, give it a squeeze. If it's butter soft, it's done. Now we're going to drain these. Let's take them over to the sink. So let's cook our tender chickpeas in a coconut yogurt sauce. Let's start by dry roasting some spices. So we've got here 1½ teaspoons of cumin seeds, 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds, whole, ½ teaspoon of fennel seeds, 8 black peppercorns, and 1 tablespoon of white poppy seeds. We've got these in a heavy pan on a full flame, and we're going to dry roast them for about 5 or 10 minutes until they're very aromatic and golden brown. So these are nice and browned and aromatic. It's been about 7½ minutes. These are ready to grind up. So we'll turn off our flame, bring them over here to our blender. Let's carefully place all the roasted dry seeds into the blender and grind them up to a powder. They're done. Nice and well ground. Ground to perfection. Fresh coconut. Here's a must for Indian-style vegetarian cooking. Whenever the recipe calls for coconut, try to get a hold of a fresh coconut. Smash it, take out the juice, and you don't even need to take off the outer skin, but shred it on a hand shredder like this until you get to the required amount. Here we have 1 cup of freshly shredded coconut. We've also got ½ tablespoon of freshly minced ginger, 3 teaspoons of green fresh chili, and we've got 1 cup of fresh yogurt. Let's pour that into our blender here along with the minced spices. Chili, ginger, coconut, and we're going to add a little water. And we're going to blend all that up. There it is. This is our yogurt sauce for our chickpeas. Now over here we have a couple of medium-sized baking potatoes that have been peeled and chopped into ½ cubes. We're going to deep fry these in our wok. We have a few cups of fresh ghee. You could use oil. We're going to deep fry these now. Now while these are deep frying, we're going to continue on with the next step. Now we're going to fry up our masala of spices here. We've got 1¼ teaspoons of black mustard seeds, 6 or 8 curry leaves, and some turmeric. That's 1 teaspoon. And we've got also 2 tablespoons of ghee here. Right, in go the mustard seeds. And the thing about frying mustard seeds is that there's no problems knowing when they're cooked, because when they are cooked they start to snap, crackle and pop. As you can see, they're beginning to pop. If you're not careful, sometimes they pop right out of the pan. Very strong aroma. Before we lose too many more poppies, mustard seeds, we're going to put in our curry leaves. Right, cook them till they're brown. These spices are done. Now let's add our chickpeas. Chickpeas. Turmeric and salt. And our coconut yogurt sauce. Now this is still on a high flame. Leave it on the high flame and reduce it down till the chickpeas and the sauce thicken. Now these chickpeas are done. Notice how all the sauce has thickened. Turn down the flame. Now let's have a look at our potatoes over here. These are golden brown. Let's take them out of the ghee. Now let's add our potatoes to our chickpeas. Stir them in. By now, the chickpeas are really dry. Let's garnish it with a little fresh coriander. Tender chickpeas in coconut yogurt sauce. A meal in itself. Well, here we have it. Just a few of the many wonderful dishes you can prepare using vegetables. Happy eating!